It's time for the Pat and Patti Show, starring Patti Smith and Pat Hughes. The Pat and Patti Show.
Yes.
Okay, and Pat and Patti, what does that mean to you? Tell me what that means to you.
Frightening things.
Frightening things?
Yes.
Oh my
Pat
God.
and Patti Show. I wake up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat going, oh my God.
What's this about?
I know. I did that once and those people hated me. They were mean to me.
I knew people loved you.
Yeah,
there were lots of people
right.
what loved you.
Yeah, I felt the love right after our last Pat and Patti Show.
Well, it's only because you're dealing with all them folks over there in the west part of the county that just was looking at you and seeing close to me, and I'm so loved because I'm a liberal, but you're not a liberal, are you?
Well, yes, I think a bold progressive, as a matter of fact. Right on my whole campaign
I
website.
I always thought you was a redneck liberal.
Well, that's true. I am a redneck, but I'm not an ignorant redneck, puppy, and I just want everybody to understand that. You know, you can be a redneck and be intelligent. It doesn't happen often, but it is possible.
You know, I think that you and me doing this stuff and all the conversation, even when we was up on stage and being, you know,
I kicked your ass up on that
well,
stage.
no, you didn't kick my ass.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. I thought that, you know, when they called you Ms. Hughes and you showed such righteous indignation, that I came right back and says, why would you be the only one?
You're such a gorgeous hunk of a man, puppy.
I know I am. Can I make a pose?
No. Oh, well, not as good as I can.
Yeah, well.
I used to do it professionally.
I know. Well,
Oh, wait, let me get my cleavage going again.
Oh, well, yeah, you need to do that because I understand Patti. No, that's not Patti. It's Candy.
Yeah,
it's got this thing about your youthful
I know.
dress.
Well, all the big hair girls and the queen of mean, that's what I like to call Candy.
Well, she's just got them spiky shoes is all.
Well, and then here she is looking like I don't even want to say how bad I think she looks most of the time.
Oh, she's so gorgeous.
But they couldn't when they hated me and they wanted to really come at me with their vitriol.
Oh, that was a good one, wasn't it?
No, they couldn't come up with anything because I hadn't been bankrupt and I hadn't been arrested and I hadn't been all these other things. I've been a good girl all my life. And so I have been really good.
I'm not disappointed.
I know. Well, I used to get around, but you know, but they couldn't come up with anything to really come after me. So they could only come after me for how I looked.
I know.
I dressed too. I had a cleavage. When I read that Candy was tired of looking at my cleavage, I thought, first of all, what the hell is she doing looking at my cleavage? And I've still got a cleavage? Who knew? I thought that was long gone, you know.
No, I know. I understand. But she was after me too. She used all them big words. She didn't know what she was talking about. She thought that was mocking me and being kind of funny, but I didn't. She just didn't know what she was talking about.
She's an awful person, in my opinion.
Oh, I know. What we need is a little bit different shot there.
Our camera crew is busy talking.
And you need to watch. Yeah, I know, and they need to watch out about being in front of the camera too. But they need to take the bigger picture so that we're not off all in the. And the disc says "go" over there. Do I need to come over there and show you how to punch a button? I thought modern American housewives knew how. No. Down here. Oh, yeah, to the right. Down. It says go. No, next one.
G-O,
yeah.
go.
There you go, punch it. Hey, hallelujah, I'm a boom.
She's a college graduate, that's why she's doing so
well. Oh, okay. Well, I is too.
Me too.
My goodness, we are educated rednecks.
I know. Well, see, that's what I was saying earlier. I come from a long line of ignorant rednecks on both sides of my family. But the difference between me and an ignorant redneck is that my mom and daddy worked hard and saved up and bought me an education.
Okay.
So I'm an educated redneck.
I understand, and I have to admit that my granddaddy did not. He was a high school graduate, and my great granddaddy, he was a captain in the Confederacy.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
That's a losing
I know, but it was still my daddy. that was the first one to be a college graduate.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I was the first one in my family on both sides to graduate from college.
Well, I was not the first one by a long shot.
I was. I was.
But I did graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I got a degree in journalism from Georgia State University.
Oh, you got to do. All I had was something like this. It was the history and political science. With I know, but it was history is an interesting thing because
the thing about history is that stupid people don't know their history, and so they keep repeating it. Smart people learn about the history, so they don't keep making the same stupid mistakes over and over and over again throughout the history of mankind.
I know, and you know, and part of what they do when they repeat it is they blow up what was there, and they try to start all over, being the new kings. And we actually got a little bit of video that I was going to suggest that we play about that. And
when they blow things up?
Yeah, well, when they blow things up and demolish them and all sorts of things like that. So we're going to take that video.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Any discussion or question?
Mr. Chairman, on new business, I have something that I would like to add. On new business, I have something that I would like to add on the agenda, and I'll give you a copy. It's a resolution renouncing the support of commercial transportation and the request to withdraw the application to the Federal Aviation Administration seeking a Part 139. And I've got copies here, and I make a motion that we add this onto the agenda for new business.
Motions or second?
Second.
Really?
Hang on, folks. We're in the discussion time. This is what we're supposed to do.
What have I done?
Well, let me re-indicate it. This is something I have been working on since July of last year. Everybody knows where my stance is on the commercialization of the airport. It's obvious.
That allows, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's three. Any opposed? Nay. Any opposed? Nay. It's 2, 3 to 2.
I would like to make a motion to remove Kerry Tidmore, Calvin Thompson, and Ellis Aston from the Airport Authority.
Yes.
In that motion, I would like to remove Matt Bazzelli and Alan Schiff from the IBA. And then I have I've got a list of people to replace them with. If I'm I guess I can combine it into one motion. So I combined it. I'm asking for it. If I'm going to make a motion to withdraw, to remove some people, should I make that motion? Make another motion to replace?
What have I done?
So, what did y'all think of my handiwork?
Well, Pat, your editing is just magnificent.
Oh, you're so kind. What did you think? Oh, why don't you introduce Dina here?
Everybody, this is my friend and former campaign manager, Dina Sanfilippo.
San Filippo. That ain't a Paulding County name.
No, it ain't.
Well,
She has a relative that was on. What was the name of that show? The show where they came in and looked at your uncle's auto parts place. Pickers.
The Pickers.
The American Pickers or something.
you got a uncle or
They were
uncle that's a hoarder.
No, my grandfather. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama. You're an Alabama girl.
Birmingham, Alabama. Yes.
Alabama.
And
Okay.
my grandfather and his brothers had a pretty famous
Very famous.
auto parts store called Rocco and Cheaters,
Okay.
and they sold race car parts.
Yeah. So it's a race car type.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they don't hoard things there. They carry them back to the junkyard after they wreck them.
Yeah.
Well, we just talking about the wrecking thing anyway, and how they wrecked the county and wrecked the airport and wrecked the.
Wrecked my life.
Well, do you have the same opinion that they're wrecking everybody's life, or are they wrecking their life now? They're making it better, aren't they? With all this Tidester taking over the helm.
Well,
As they say.
I watched that video, and I hope that they watch that video and look at it from the point of view of just the average Paulding County citizen, because the average Paulding County citizen doesn't have the same background that we do as far as knowing what's been going on for the past couple of years in regards to this airport issue. So the average person just sitting there watching this video is sitting there going, they're watching Todd saying not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, hey, I did not violate the Open Records.
Well, we know he didn't violate the Open Records Act. Now, if from the regular guy point of view, what I was thinking that they were thinking is, Todd, spit it out. What are you trying to say, boy? I mean, because he's in there. I mean, he's worse than I am. I mean, but from the Open Records deal, I have no doubt that they were perfectly in compliance, because none of them was on the board. None of them was even swore in. They could meet together however they wanted to, and they were sitting there for 6 months. He said, or better, but the big I. I was doing this I've been plotting this for months and months and months, and we've been together and whatever, but we never violated open meetings law.
Well, I think the term pissing on the spirit of the law comes to mind. Now, I worked in the airport department.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you know that?
From June of 2006 to March of 2009, so I know kind of how things work behind the scenes, and there is a protocol, for these Board of Commissioner meetings. The Board of Commissioners, before the meeting, they do receive a PDF document that has the backup information for the agenda items. So they come in, and you do hope that they have read through this
they're supposed
document.
to be prepared.
Right, and a lot of the agenda items are pretty mundane items. They're just items where they're just taking care of the business of the county. They're approving contracts, and there's really not much discussion involved when you have a contract that has gone through the bidding process and the legal counsel has reviewed. There's nothing, but there's a lot of things that I think the average person wonders about when there's not any discussion really, and you do have to kind of wonder, why is there no discussion or lack of discussion? And then it does make you wonder, well, how much has been going on behind the scenes? You do have to wonder about
I understand. Part of this is that when they're doing it official, they've got a staff, and it's county staff, people we pay to do this stuff, not people that's paid by mystery men, okay, or lawyers or whatever. But basically, all this is done on the up and up, presumably, and it's all done, like you said. In fact, I can recall. And here I got a pet peeve. Can I have a pet peeve?
Yes,
you may. Oh, okay, good. Back in the days, and I'm not a great fan of Mr. Sharon, is county commission chairman, okay? But in those days, he used to send us the same packet that he would send to us into press, the same packet. When we was having the meetings, we had a special table we could sit at, and none of that happens. Instead, what they do is I'm on strike.
Yes,
I'm on strike going to the Paulding County Commission meetings because, oh, here, let's take off your belt, boy. Let's take off your pants. I want to see whether you got the gun. I got the gun, but you ain't going to see it, boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's just such I am insulted. I am insulted.
I'm
Patty,
insulted too.
I mean, Patty, I think it's a game. I sit there and I put on my bangle bracelets, and I have even thought about buying stuff like toe rings and ankle bracelets and doing like that and hold that line up.
That's part of the problem is I got to come there 10, 15, 20 minutes sooner to get through the doggone line to get in there and set up all my stuff.
Here it is. Have you ever read Rules for Radicals? That is how you stop this ridiculous stuff, is if everybody did it, everybody bogged down the system.
Why do they do it? Why do they do it in the first place? Is it to give me a hassle? Or is it to tell everybody in Paulding County and everybody in the country that, oh, we got to be afraid because there's people who got guns and we got to be afraid. And, fear!
Well, come on. That's the Republican mantra. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid.
But then our own elected officials, you see them going right around.
I know.
And due to some of the contemptuous nature of things going on in the county right now, I think the most plausible thing that could theoretically happen is one of our elected officials just gets so mad and does something to somebody else. That's probably the most likely thing that's going to happen.
When that was going on and I was looking at the TV, I wondered where they had a gun. You.
And they would be the one to do it because they don't have to go through the metal detector.
I know, but actually, I would be happy if they let me go around the side and just like them and whatever. I've been going to more meetings than all them folks all put together.
I'm done with the meetings.
You're done with the meetings?
I
know. Look, it is really pretty much hey. You don't think that I hadn't enjoyed not being on vacation? Being on strike, I mean.
Yeah, me too.
All I can say is thank goodness for technology and a couple
I can
hours
watch it
after
on
the
the
fact, I can,
when I can stomach it, I can watch it on the TV. Yeah.
But let's go on. You worked out at the airport. You got what was your role out there?
I was Blake's assistant.
Blake's assistant, and you got an advanced degree.
I did.
Okay, what is that degree, and where did it come from?
Well, I have an undergraduate degree in accounting and marketing and an MBA, and part of the reason that I was hired is because I had some experience in marketing and market research and business development.
Okay, and where did I was just kind of curious about that. And
did Blake utilize those skills? No.
No. Okay. So you felt kind of frustrated in that job?
Yes, I was frustrated. Yes, because I had ideas and. Yeah.
And they weren't.
It wasn't. I guess the right time to do that, because the time that I was there was when the runway was being built. And one of the things that I was saying is that they needed to spend some time marketing. Building it up, and unfortunately, from what I had heard, is that the county had a horrible reputation in the Atlanta metro area for being anti-business, anti-growth, and there was some discussion about maybe there needs to be a PR campaign before all of this came online to start changing that perception, because if you have a negative perception about
but if it's reality, it's hard to change.
I understand, and that's been one of my primary points about how we're treating the certain this fellow, Mr. Smith, that you don't particularly like, because we're saying, hey, come out and make a deal with us. We'll make you a sweetheart deal. And I know you think it's a sweetheart.
So we can screw all our citizens.
But we'll screw you in the end.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, you can't have a reputation of not being. You basically, Paulding County coming across like a flake.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it's a well-deserved reputation myself.
Well, and when you have these huge swings of opinion on the Board of Commissioners. I mean, look at what just happened. The very first new Board Commissioners meeting in January. We got 3 new people on, and I was...
No, 2 new people, 1
Yeah,
reelected
that's
guy.
right. Two new people. But I was really kind of surprised. I was expecting... I wasn't surprised at what they did. I was just surprised that they came in swinging.
Yeah.
You know, I
Was that in your opinion, was that the smart way to do this? Was that the smart way to do this, or was it kind of the showboat way to do it?
Well, I knew they were going to do it. I just figured that it would probably be not the first meeting, but ultimately I think that they need to watch the video of it. And like I said, it goes back to not everybody is informed on the issues, and look how they came across. I mean, they came across where they were just trying to ram that through, and they didn't give a very good explanation to why they were doing it. And I think that David Carmichael had a very good point when they sit there and say, well, I want to get rid of all these people on the IBA and the Airport Authority meetings.
Well,
and
I want to put
these people in, and they didn't give any explanation
as to why.
They didn't say, well, these people haven't, fulfilled their promises, or they went back on their I mean, they didn't
attended the meetings.
Any kind of explanation. All they did is they said something to the effect of, we're just fulfilling our campaign promises. And my question is, well, who did you make these campaign promises to?
Well, that is the $64,000 question. Or I think they put in more than $64,000, quite frankly. But who is this? Who is this? Who is this? It's got all these, it's pulling all these.
I don't know. Who's behind this? Is it Protect Paulding?
Let me ask you a question, because you talked about it. You've talked about it to me, and you said that when it first came up, back in October of 2013, somebody, Candy, sweet old Candy, came up to you and says, hey, we're looking for somebody to sue, be the name on the suit, because...
No, the way it came to me was through...
Well, you tell us.
It came to me in an email. I got an email, and it was from a guy named Danny Diaz, I believe, from up in Washington, D.C. He was with... I did a little research on him as soon as it came in, because I didn't know who the heck he was. And it was an ultra-conservative, right-wing, Tea Party type PR firm. They do marketing and research and PR for ultra-conservative organizations. And here's this guy sending me an email telling me that there's a lawsuit waiting to be filed. It could be filed the following Monday. I believe this was a Friday morning that I got it. And the following Monday they were going to file this lawsuit. The only one thing they needed was a citizen of Paulding County to be on the lawsuit. And I sent it out to all my core group friends, because Candy Goldman was behind the startup of the Stop Paulding Airport movement. Mm-hmm. The first meeting was in her apartment.
This ponytail patriot?
Yes.
Is she red haired?
I don't know what her real color is.
Okay.
But anyway, I sent this out to everybody, including her, and she was the first one to get back to me, and she called and said, give him a call. And I said, no, I'm not calling him. You call him if you want to call him. I'm not calling him. I don't know who this guy is. I got things to do. I'm a busy person. You call. So she called me back shortly, a few hours later, because she had a hard time getting in touch with him, she said. And she told me about what he wanted, that he wanted a person on the lawsuit. And I said, well, who's paying the bill? Who's paying for this lawyer? And, well, you can't know that. And I said, well, then I'm not getting involved, because if you get into bed with a dog that has fleas, if you get into the bed with somebody you don't know well, you may wake up in the morning with fleas, and I didn't want to get involved with some person I didn't know. And so I said no, I did not want to get involved in the lawsuit, and Candy called her next victim, and that person signed up, and the lawsuit was filed.
So let me ask you this, I mean, on a scale of percentage possibility, just being possible, you say far right wing, I wonder how much stock the Koch brothers own in Delta.
Well, I don't know, but I would say that
I mean, I don't know.
I would say the Koch brothers have more influence in this group than I would have ever dreamed when I was involved in it.
Okay.
But now that I've had time to step back and look at the people and the players and learn more, I'd say this is...
Well, we you know, I know that nobody seems to know, and it's the biggest $64,000 question, whatever you want to call it, but it is a secret, and they say, oh, it ain't Delta. It ain't Delta.
I don't know
but
who's behind those lawsuits, but and I don't care, because as long as it stops this madness, I don't really care who's behind it.
Yeah, I know everybody. This I guess that's probably the reason that they tend to jump into these type of deals.
But everybody's got their
sneak in.
But the point is that every group, Brett Smith has his money boys behind him. And the Protect Paulding group has a different set of money boys behind them. And the lawsuit people have a different set of money boys behind them. So who the hell are these money boys? We don't know who any of them are. We know they're front people. We know the shills they've got out front carrying the water for them here in Dallas. But who is really fighting this war for the value that we have here in Paulding? People are coming to take whatever the hell they want from this county and run with it.
And I think that, you know, wherever you sit on the pro-commercialization or not, we have to recognize the fact now that that's probably not even the big issue we need to be discussing. The ultimate issue that everybody needs to be discussing now is money.
Who's in charge?
Yes.
It's money because...
Who's looking to win?
Exactly. Well, you have the money. You just have to wonder how much influence this money has over the new board of commissioners.
I say a lot.
And you know, were they conspiring with them to set up their plan that they're following through right now?
Actually, you know, I'm kidding a little bit, but this is serious.
This isn't tinfoil hat stuff. This is happening. This is what we've seen happening.
That everybody needs to be talking about, and unfortunately, we didn't get into that much before the election. Is how much is this going to cost us, one way or the other? I mean, there's a whole list of costs that the taxpayers are ultimately going to bear.
Because we can't go asking for the money back from the FAA if for any number of improvements we've already done, including the widening of the runway. I mean, all those things kind of go off the table. So you know, Todd and them bunch is just tearing it.
Well, that's it.
If we had a lighter or whatever, nobody smokes anymore. Yeah. We could burn up some money, because that's what they're doing, is burning the money.
Exactly. Because there are a lot of costs that somebody is going to incur in trying to get out of this contract with Propeller, and the question is, who's going to bear those costs, and is it going to trickle down to the taxpayer?
So I'll ask you both again. Do you think what happened at the commission meeting was smart?
I mean, it's a good thing to say no to the 139 certificate, but did they think about the ramifications, the consequences of their actions before they said, we're just going to take a hatchet to this thing? Did they think about the ramifications?
I mean,
I hope they did.
I mean, I would have liked to have, you know, I would love to know, did they talk to legal counsel about, because the contract is with the airport authority, so if Propeller sues, they're going to sue the airport authority, but then can Propeller also sue the county? And if they can, and they sue the airport authority and they're successful, how much is it going to cost us to get out of this contract? That's the big question, is how much is it going to cost us to get out of this contract? And conversely, the other question that they have never been willing to address is if this 139 certification goes through, how much are we going to be on the hook for all of the non-FAA reimbursable expenses that are going to be that are going to have to be done to for infrastructure purposes. There's parking garages, there's improvements to road. I mean, you're talking about a lot of money, and where is this money going to come from when we have signed a contract with Propeller giving them, what is it, 97.5% of gross revenue?
I can tell you where part of it's coming from is they're raising taxes on the people who live closest to the airport. They're raising property values. While our property values are plummeting in the toilet, they're saying for their tax purposes that our homes are worth more. It didn't happen to me, but one of my neighbors, and he even went to the tax assessor to fight it, and it is just so rigged. It is such a rigged system. It is amazing to me.
Well, and the great thing about being in government is you can sit there and say, oh, your property values are not going to go down because we're going to make sure that they don't go down.
While one realtor that's very tightly connected to the Board of Commissioners told one neighbor that probably my house was now worth less than 50 grand and his was probably worth less than 150 grand, and he owes more than that on it. So our taxes are going up out by the runway. Those most harmed get hit again by the good old boys in our government.
Well, you know, there's that issue and the tax issue, and certainly there's also the issue of local control. There's also the issue of, okay, we've got all these expenses that you're talking about that will accrue to the airport, and so we've killed the 139, so we can't go down that road. And there's not really much of a road to go down in terms of general aviation at this point, because it's been so poorly marketed. We've got such a wonderful reputation as a flaky partner. And
As well we should.
so I guess, when do you think we're going to give the airport to the folks that own the 9,700 acres right south of there, so they can do whatever they wish, because we don't want an airport?
You mean that you think they're going to give it to the city of Atlanta?
I think that they're going to give it up, and FAA is going to give it to the city of Atlanta, or to a state-run airport authority that will take over all the debts, and including probably the debt that is incurred in getting out of the contract with Propeller, and they'll be able to do this on a regional basis, and you know, they're going to look at this and they're going to see what it is, and they're going to do whatever they choose.
Yeah.
I know that when I saw the 2010 study regarding the estimate of $2 billion for making this an airport, they were grossly, to me, it looked like they were grossly overestimating the cost of doing this out here, because they wanted to make sure that no one knew what their plans were.
Well, and
I think that that the city of Atlanta and whatever in Delta are primarily concerned about this being them having control, not necessarily the competition or anything else. They just want to have the control.
You're going by the David Austin. It's Delta.
Well, he might have a point on that.
I mean,
he may have a point on that.
well, here's the ultimate. You know, here's the
That's
thing.
the problem with not knowing who's behind it.
Well,
what they want to do.
yay who?
Shut up. She's talking.
The problem is now we still don't know to this day what they really want to do with this airport. I mean, we have heard conflicting information regarding the number of flights. I mean, we've heard, 2 per week, and then Brett Smith has said, his ultimate goal is $1 million,
which is
a
about
year.
26 flights a day.
Exactly. And then we also had somebody else from Propeller come in at one of the airport authority meetings and say that what they really want to do is MRO.
Which is really bad for the community.
And he brought in, the guy mentioned the fact that the Paulding site is equidistant between Boeing and Airbus, and they had been talking to some West Coast MRO folks about relocating here to service those planes. And the thing about it is, they're not going to locate here until the 139 certification is obtained, because they have to have the kind of security that you would find at that
commercial
so
airport.
you just don't know what they want to do, because as far as I know, there's not a way to get 139 certification to just have an airport that's dedicated to doing, MRO in general aviation. You have to have the passenger component of it, and that may be the reason why Allegiant is floating around, because they know that Allegiant will come in and try a route, and if it doesn't work, well, they haven't really lost anything, and the end result is you've got an airport that it would end up being, pretty much for MRO operations and a little bit of general aviation, and that that it makes me wonder if that's what their ultimate plan is.
Here's I gotta tell you this. Here's something different. Before we wind this up, I want to share something that I learned just the other day about this is still related to the airport, but different from what. Y'all know what the mitigation, wildlife mitigation process is at the airport? That they're killing animals. They're killing lots and lots of animals because it's bothersome to Blake and the airport boys that there might be.
They've had some issues with coyotes on the runway.
I certainly have issues with coyotes, and I'm at the east end of the runway, so it doesn't surprise me. But they've been killing deer. They've been killing any kind of wildlife they can find. They're trying to kill everything they can find. It's very, very strange how Blake is going about this, if you ask me. But there's so much about Blake that I found strange.
Well, I mean, hey, Bungalow Bill, what did you kill? I mean, this is gun culture country, honey.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
People out there hunting deer,
but there's a difference
out there.
There's a difference.
So how are they?
Who's getting the venison?
Going about?
I want some of that venison.
Have they hired like a wildlife removal person to come out there and?
I'm not certain about that. I was just told yesterday that
It's called for you. It's called for you, and you know what it is.
There is an ongoing project, and their goal is just to kill as many as they can. And my neighbors are talking now lately about how they just never see deer anymore. And I used to see them like every day. There was a family of about 12 that would tromp through my front yard.
Yeah, that was a wildlife area for the most part. Most of the area south of there is. So,
but the deer are disappearing. The animals are disappearing. I wouldn't mind the coyotes disappearing, but they ate one.
Okay, well, we're before we close out, I want to ask who do you think we could get to come visit with us and tell us stuff?
I don't know. Who would you want to hear from?
Well, I mean, would we KV? Do you think KV would be amenable to coming up here?
I don't know. You'll have to ask him. He's no longer my boyfriend.
He's no longer your boyfriend. Okay, how about Mojo?
Also no longer my boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Mojo's still my friend. I think KV's still my friend.
You can pick.
I think you ought to liven it up and invite one of the anti-airport folks to come on and.
Anti-airport? Aren't we anti-airport?
Y'all are anti-airport. I don't believe pro-airport around here. I was thinking about maybe the chamber lady. President?
Oh yeah,
Wouldn't that be great? Well, oh yeah, you sound so excited.
Well, I think the chamber should do their own thing, not suckle at the teat of the taxpayer. I heard they were going to get off that teat, but I'm still not sure.
Well, I understand. Oh well, this has been the it's the Patty and Pat show or Pat and Patti show.
I think I should get top billing, frankly.
I think I gave you top billing on the title.
I thought it was very wise.
Okay, folks, that's it.
And Dina, thank you, Dina, for joining us. Yeah. And to her fan club, Mr. Nigel, there he is.
Yep. Come on over here real quick.
Come on, Nigel. Hurry up, baby.
He's been quiet in the background.
He's been such a good boy.
Okay, you got to get up here a little bit and get in her lap.
Come up here.
There you go. Okay, say that's all for today.
He's heavy.
This is a great video that we had. Great talk.
Okay.
We'll
Thanks. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
He's the ham. The next Todd Powell.
He was my most fervent campaign supporter.
I think this is be looking forward to
The next one.
a third video.
Yes, there you
A
go.
fourth video, a fifth video. Hey, we're gonna take over the world.
Exactly.
Part 3.
Just like Ty. Okay, folks, that's
All
it.
right. There you go. Watch out. Well, I don't know how that went.
I think it went okay.
Good.
I think so too.